Hey, I'm Philip, and I've been attending Lincoln Square virtually since summer 2020 and in person since summer 2021. I felt isolated, and I yearned for that community and the roots and being in my own neighborhood and in my own city again. And so that kind of drew me back to New York. And as far as coming back into the Lincoln Square community, really, I think one of the bigger things for me was not just attending, but actually serving. So I serve as part of the Gotham Fellowship program. I serve as an usher, and actually, getting involved in a CG and not just sort of coming and punching your time card for the Sunday morning, but actually, being giving back, but also having opportunities to be fed yourself as well, and really, having space to be part of the community and wrestle through life together. If I think back on my time at Lincoln Square and what's been impactful for me, there are many things. One particular experience is jumping out at me, and it seems like it's sort of a logistical task, but it's actually been more than that for me, and that is ushering. I was happy to sort of sign my name up to do ushering once a month, and I thought it was a good way to sort of, get involved. But it's been a huge blessing to me to be able to, even in the 5-second interaction that you have with people as they come in the door, just to see glimpses of our church come through the door. And what an honor that is to see people as they're entering into the house of God and as they're entering into worship and preparing for worship, and just making that even just that very quick connection and saying, hey, we're here together. The Lord has brought us together today. Let's worship together today. And that has made me feel connected in a very significant way, where I can see a pretty big cross section of our church and really appreciate that, and it's incarnate before my eyes in a way that you just don't see when you're virtual. I think church membership is important because when you're part of a church, you're not just a number in a group. You're part of a community that's really trying to grow together and embed the gospel in their lives. And membership is a way to take that next step and say, hey, I'm here and I'm here to stay and I'm here to be committed. I think Lincoln Square does a great job of blending head and heart. So, we can intellectually look at a passage and say, what does this mean exegetically? What are the homiletics here? What does the original Hebrew or Greek say? And that's a critical part of our faith. But if we don't take that and take that as our own and take it into our hearts, it just stops and it falls off there. And so that's a critical part of our growth as Christians. That's where the work begins, is as a heart transformation. And Lincoln Square, has the head, but it has the heart as well. And I want to be part of that. I think this 5-year mark for LSQ is huge. It's a big milestone for us. And I think it's something that we can really just turn that right back around to the Lord and just, rejoice in that and say, thank you, God, for what you've done the last 5 years at LSQ. I think it really speaks to the need for a church that touches both the head and the heart and is community focused and where we live life together. I think Lincoln Square is a place where you can just be who you are and just be yourself and come as you are and give of yourself and be vulnerable, and the Lord will really bless that. If I'm talking to someone who's new to the church and trying to figure out what does this church thing look like, or even just new to this specific church, what does being involved at Lincoln Square look like? I think I'll first preface it by saying that the bond of Christ, I think, is the strongest bond that we can have as humans. But that doesn't mean that conversations always flow smoothly. Sometimes there's awkwardness. Sometimes it's a little, stilted to kind of get into a conversation. And I would just encourage that person to persist and to stay and to be part of that, even if it doesn't quite hit at first, even if the first person you talk to at coffee hour doesn't become your best friend, that's okay. Yeah, so I think that we are in an age in our world where we critique things, where we it's the information age, right? So we have information at our fingertips, and it's easy for us to, pull arguments apart and, pull things apart and say, does this make sense? Does this make sense? And I guess what I love about Lincoln Square is that we sit right in that and we say, the gospel can withstand curiosity. The gospel can withstand critical inquiry. The gospel can withstand our questions. In fact, we understand the gospel better if we're able to engage in that. And that's what Lincoln Square wants. That's what we're here for. This is not I'm holier than thou, I'm going to teach you this. It's, hey, we're all here together. What can we learn from the creator of the universe, and how can we live into that reality as redeemed people in this world?